Hi, it's Liz from Lohas Canada. It is July the 15th, 2020. So thankfully it is now sunny outside and it's actually warm outside as well. We had so many days where it's just so much rain or cloud and it was just cool outside. So I haven't even gone swimming in the ocean yet, which is crazy that it's already this late in the year and I haven't swum in the ocean. So I'm off to the beach after this, but I'm just wearing this sarong type thing and I just have my bathing suit underneath. But I wanted to get onto the podcast about knitting and sewing and everything crafty that we're doing. So I've been outside in the garden quite a bit and I've been doing some stonework, I guess. So stonework with cement, and basically all I'm doing is putting the cement down, so mixing the cement. It's already pre-made cement, so mixing the cement with water and then putting the stones on and then pressing them down. I found a board really helped to make sure I got the lines correctly, and then I put a little bit of water at the top just so it seals it in. It's not being stepped on, so it'd be a different process. I'd have to dig deeper into the earth, make sure everything's kind of level. I've never done this before, so it was kind of all trial and error, but it worked out really well, I think, and it looks really nice around the boards for the garden. So around the fig tree, I just ended up going to the thrift store, I think last year, and ended up using these cake pans at the thrift store. They, they were like 50 cents type thing, and just using them as a mold so you can put the cement around it and then write what it is and then put it around, and it works well. So then it keeps away certain bugs from crossing it, and then also when you're weed whacking or mowing your yard, you're not weed whacking too close to the plant, because that's always an issue. But we will first get into some knitting. So I finally finished the pair of socks. I need to put them on my Ravelry page, but these are fully done now. I thought these were going to be my last yarn that I have of these ones, of the wool, but I actually went through my stash and I was reorganizing a bunch of stuff, and I do have one more ball of yarn for sock yarn. Doesn't necessarily mean I need to make socks out of it, but I do have to see how much it is, because it might not be the full amount that I need. I think it's 100 grams, so it could be another pair of socks. I'm not going to make another pair of wool socks just because I'll do that in the fall. Right now we are in cotton heaven, so I was happy to get these off my needles. It was nice to have a little project though when I was going to barbecues or wherever, so I was able to finish these up pretty quickly once I started on that. But I am happy to be done and not having wool now that it's definitely getting hotter out. The other one I'm still working on is my little secret crop top. Now, this is the exact same yarn as last podcast, and this is the exact same pattern. So I wore this crop top, and then my sister was like, I want one. And her birthday's coming up in August, so she didn't really want a super, low crop top. She can wear high-waisted jeans, and she does have a longer torso than me, so I think this will be good enough. And then I'll start to break for the bust area and then I'll do the strap. So I'm almost done this one. Not halfway done. I'm halfway done this one, and then I'll be able, I probably have enough yarn, I still have this much yarn left over just from this, and it's just, I have another one of these and of the leftovers from my other one. So I'm thinking I could probably make another crop top, probably not as long, and I could probably make that for one of my other sisters, but I'm kind of getting sick of this yarn. I want to use another cotton yarn. I got some other cotton yarn from last week's podcast that I will do a gauge swatch and then figure out how many stitches and then make some more in a different colorway and a different weight. It's just a little bit denser. It's a 7 ounce, and so the other cotton I got is a lot more lighter than this. So this is really great, I think, for fall and spring with really damp or cool weather. I was wearing this a lot. And cotton also does, I did the straps which I'll have to remember for this. I did the straps on mine, and then I did it perfectly to my size, and then within maybe like half an hour of being in the car, they grew about an inch. So I do have to really remember that, either make the straps smaller so then they'll have room to grow, or crisscross them at the back so then it's not a big deal, because they were kind of falling off. So I also went to the thrift store, again a different thrift store, and I ended up finding a book, a Rowan book, so for 50 cents. So it's called Hemp Tweed, and this is by Lisa Richardson. And you know what? I don't even know when... I thought this would have like volumes. Maybe it's just collections. So I really like the design. I really like the texture. I really like that look. And then there's just some other really classic ones in here. And then I went to a garage sale, which was put on by the Qualicum Beach Weavers and Spinners, and it was just in one of the members' yard, basically. So they had different members' stuff. They were all wrapped in plastic, so then, you know, it's no contamination type thing. Fortunately, when I got there, it was almost the end and it was starting to rain, so I had to be very, very quick. There wasn't too much that I picked up. This is Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220 with wool, and this is the wool that I've used. Like, this is the same company that I have used for my first sweater by Marley Bird, so I know the softness. This one isn't as soft because of my first sweater I made with, I think it was alpaca in it, and that made it super soft. So I got, what did I get? I got 1,200 yards total for 20 bucks, which isn't too bad. And I was thinking, oh, here it is. Yeah, 1,200 yards for 7 balls of mixed of the same type. This color is, I have another color of this from a different company. It's not my favorite. It's showing up darker, but it's more like a bright blue. So it's a little bit too bright for my taste. Like, I like this blue compared to like this blue. It's just so much brighter. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with it, but that will be in the fall. And I was thinking that I can do some color work because I've never done color work before. So maybe figuring that out. So that is all I've been doing for knitting. I want to finish up the shirt and then start on the next shirt as well and do a little test swatch. So I'm excited to make shirts all this summer. And the other one that I got was, this is hand spun silk. I got 3 balls of it, and it is beautiful. It's like this slubby type colorway, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it, but I did know I wanted to do something in this. And I got 3 balls, totals 304 grams, which is 580 yards. So, and I got that for $20 as well. So I think those are really good deals. I can even make a little shrug. So we are going to move over into the sewing world. I haven't done a ton of sewing this last 2 weeks. I have been trying to finish up projects. I have finally come to the conclusion that I do need to sell my products on Etsy. I'm going to start doing that, so I took a whole bunch of pictures, and I will let you know when that is a go. So I ended up getting some boxes and figuring that all out, and figuring out my inventory. So I haven't done a ton of sewing, but I did finish just a prototype to see This is something that will be new, and it's a mesh bag, and I want to make ones larger for your produce, or even you could probably do these as beach bags so they won't hold up maybe as much, I don't know. But I would like to do one for fruits and vegetables and stuff. I do use still the cheesecloth ones, and I find that works really well too. It's just different variety of stuff. My only thing is my serger busted this week. So with my Etsy stuff, I was trying to figure out how I could present it in an eco-friendly way, doing all those different things, how to make it really nice. And what I was thinking is I can get some recycled fabric from the thrift store, or if someone was giving it away, I could get stuff like that. And then just serge the edges and then kind of put it in there, like put the product in. So I was cutting out these like lace stuff. And I thought, oh, it'd be super cute. They could reuse it for whatever. And you just put it in, put your product on top, and kind of just like lay it over. And then when they open it up, it'll be really cute. So I was serging away, doing all these like serging lace stuff. And then all of a sudden it started eating my fabric. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. Usually it doesn't eat my fabric like that. And then all of a sudden, like, my needle busted, and then the little pins at the bottom, I think they're called fingers, busted, like one of them broke. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. Can I order just the pin? Because that's just what it seems. Anyhow, so I called one of my sewing places, the ones who, I have a Hobby Lock, and it's just like this old used machine that's been awesome for me. Hobby Lock, was it 797? And they were just like, yeah, we have some here. You can come in and bring your plate and you can get it from us. So when I brought it in the plate, it wasn't the same what they had in stock. So they have to order it. So I'm just waiting 10 to 15 business days or something. So my serger, so sad, it's out of commission. But I mean, I have tons of other projects I can do. It's just that the serger is just such a big part of what I do. So I was, back to this, I was making this, but that's on hold now too, because for these things you have to use a serger. I don't really, once it's folded over, I did zigzag it or did some other design on top of it to put it together, but no, you have to serge these types of things, I think. So I was watching a video, I think, on Foundations Revealed, or maybe I read it in an article, and they were talking about like a stitching binder. So you would have all the different types of stitches for that fabric and see how it looked. So I knew when I started doing the embroidery machine that I would have to do something like that, because the fabric does not always match the thread, or always think like it looks the same. Like I'm like, oh, this thread looks amazing, and then I go to do it and I was like, it looks okay. So I did a very test run and I figured out I need more practice with my machine. I know I can do like setting it all up and then just picking different threads. So my machine is just a one thread, so every time I change the color I have to rethread it again. So it did take me a long time, and I just did this manually, so everything is not like I'll just show you. So I did like the first line and then the second line, and then I changed it out, and then did like the third line and the fourth line, and then changed out the color again. Or no, I did the third line and then the fourth line are two different colors. So positioning all of them wasn't the best, and I could have done it like the spacing a lot different. Like this could have been all on one line, and then I'd be able to get more in there. So, but I think it was a pretty good first run, and I figured out after I did all this, I was like, okay, I got all the colors that I have, and then I found another box and I was like, oh, I actually ordered some specific colors just for embroidery because I think they would show up really well, and I did not include them. So like, you know, this pink here, it is a really nice soft pink, but it doesn't do too well, you know, on this compared to this is the carnation pink. So, and yeah, so what I've seen people have done in the past is you make these different types of things. Of course, they would have done them by hand. And I've even seen at some embroidery places, they actually do the whole alphabet. Maybe not necessarily, maybe on the certain colors. There's this one I was watching, I think on YouTube, and they actually did the whole alphabet with all the different fonts that they had, and then framed it and then put it up on their wall, because some people would say pick like, oh, they wanted their team name or wanted a family name, but they liked the A in this one font but then didn't like the S, like the S was completely different, so then they didn't like the whole font together, so they ended up actually putting them on the wall, which I think is pretty cool. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, once they're all done, get the correct size for all of them, do the edges, and then probably turn one side over like this, so then I can put holes into it and then make it into a little book. So then I will have an embroidery book of labels and stuff. So that is what my hopes and dreams are. It did take me like half a day to do this just because it was my first time, but I think I can program it so it'll be a lot faster. I'd still have to take out all the different, change out all the different colors every time, but I think it will be worth it, and I think in the end it will save me a lot of time, and then I can always just refer to it. And maybe one day I will just do the whole alphabet. There are some pre-existing fonts already in the machine, so that would be pretty easy enough to do, and if I just did it in one color, it wouldn't be a big problem. So I have all the fabric cut out that I would want in this book, and then if I order any new colors, then I can just continuously add to it. But so far so good, and I've only done one, so I will continue on that. And I did go to the thrift store when I bought the Rowan book, or the knitting book, and I also found another book, and it's called Undressed. So this book, and of course the corset got my attention, but it's a brief history of underwear, but it's published by the Victoria and Albert Museum exhibition. So I don't know who it's in London. It's a Victoria and Albert Museum in London. So that's been interesting. They do show modern underwear as well, but they do have some of these like old underwear garments. So I won't show you them because they are copyrighted and they're not for distribution except in this book. But yeah, it was pretty good. It would only cost me $3 for this book. So they do definitely have some like eye candy of corsets and even stockings of things that were made and little camis and stuff. They do have newer stuff. It's not really, you know, what I would consider undergarments, considering they're worn as a dress, but there was one, if you do have this book, it's on page 59. It's a corset of cotton whalebone, metal busk, and machine-made cotton lace, trimming in Germany or Britain, 1890, given by the family of Mayer Vanowski. It's this kind of this light bronze with darker bronze, or I guess a darker medium brown for the boning casings, and then it's just got, it's an overbust, and then it's got this black lace trim that goes through it, and then it's got some interesting detail of like almost ribbing almost, and then some flossing to it. So yeah, it's a really eye candy book, and then gives me a lot of inspiration to finish the first corset. I still haven't finished it. I don't know why. I think it's totally a mental thing. So I'm almost done this. I just have to do the bottom of this. So this is the bottom binding, and I just haven't done it, and then just trim up all the threads and everything. So I've done the top binding, I've done the bottom binding for one, and then just do that, and then this one will be done. And I have cut out the pattern again on parchment paper, and then I'll make the adjustments again for, I think it was panel 3. I have to find the original post that I put in Foundations Reveal, and one of the mentors helped me trim down the bust because it was just sticking out too much. And then I think I'll be good to go on my second one. And my second one I'll be using front and back. So this one I just used one kind of a canvasy material just to try to understand the technique and shape and get me some stitching properly. I mean, I did all this by hand, and so that's was really interesting. Trying to figure out how to do the shaping around the curves and everything. So in the second one I'll be doing two materials like the pattern suggested. No boning casings, it'll be actually part of the fabric. So this one I put in boning channels in the back of it. So in the original pattern you're just putting the two materials together, putting the boning in, and then making it its own boning casing. So I will do that. And then I was at the thrift store the same time, not going multiple times, and I found this really interesting, I don't even know what type of material it is. It feels like jean material. It's got a little bit of stretch, but I just thought it was a really nice pattern, not too flashy or out there, but I thought maybe I could do this for, depending on how much material, my outer fabric for a third draft of my corset. So I'll have enough material for it. Hoping I'm getting. So it does have a little bit of shimmer and shine to it, but not too much that it's taken away from it. And then once I'm done that, I do also want to do learn the underbust. So this pattern has the overbust and then the underbust, and I would love material under this, under an underbust as well. So I think that would be pretty cute. So that is all I have actually for today. I mean, it seems to me like a lot, but then also not a lot. But I seem to be doing stuff every day. I just haven't been sitting at my sewing machine. So that's my plan so far, and yeah, it's gonna be picking season soon now, kind of, and more canning season, so and cleaning season and reorganizing and all that good stuff. So I hope you are all staying safe wherever you are, and I will chat with you guys later. Bye!